Log into your place. And we're going to record this, so then we'll send it out if. Let's see. Five passwords later. Okay, so form simplicity. Task list templates. We have a new feature in form simplicity. Task list templates, which is now available. Okay, whatever. All right, so we're going to go to the bottom.
What's the Wi-Fi password?
Wi-Fi password.
Oh,
Yes.
thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Create a forms package, and we're going to call it listings package. Now you probably won't use this tomorrow, but I want you to be ready because we're going to list Jeff and Tammy's house. Yeah.
Do we get in this through our Keller Williams, or do you just go form simplicity? I'm sorry.
It's a flex MLS.
Through the
Flex
MLS.
MLS. Thank you. I'm sorry, that's a silly question, but thank you.
So we're going to add form. So this is coming at a perfect time since we're going to list Jeff and Tammy's house. You're going to need to have your listing packages because we're going to do 2 listing presentations, and they're going to pick which one they want, which all of us is going to do the listing, but you know, we're going to practice doing listing presentations. So, and then we'll pick 2, and 2 of you will then do listing presentations to Jeff and Tammy, or maybe just Tammy, I'm not sure. And you know, we're going to go through the whole thing. We're going to go through the staging suggestions. We're going to go through scheduling a photographer. We're going to go through the whiteboard, and we're going to go and put the listing on, perhaps coming soon. We'll go through the whole thing. So some of you have done listings. However, it's going to be a good training thing. We're going to schedule open houses. I'm going to send you all out in teams of 2 to canvass the neighborhoods. So it'll be good. It'll be a fun experience. All right, so we're going to go to Florida in the library. I'll move this. And we're going to search for the form. So it's a listing contract. So listing. Search. So we want, ooh, this table is like in the wrong way. So we want the exclusive right of listing agreement, consent to transition to transaction broker. And can anyone tell me why we want that one?
In case you get a buyer that's not represented.
In case it's under the same brokerage, right?
Exactly, in case we get another Keller Williams agent bringing the buyer.
Yeah.
So if you get a buyer agent who's a Keller Williams agent, then you are both working for Keller Williams. You're working for the listing. You're working for Keller Williams, not for the seller or the buyer. Okay. You're representing the listing. So exclusive right of listing agreement. And we'll go through and we'll populate this when we do the next section. So go ahead and save this.
Or even say even outline.
The little old disc looking thing.
I think
Yeah. Now, you guys should always have forms with you, blank forms. Now, when you pre-populate, that's when you should really go ahead and print them. I wouldn't print them right now because they're blank. After we pre-populate them, then go ahead and print out copies. Okay, and always have a couple copies of your documents with you. You can have like a little binder in your trunk or something, and you have listing agreements, wire frauds,
So in case you need them and something like that.
yeah, contracts, etc. And then X out of that, because we're going to add. So let's add, then we're going to go to Florida again. And we're going to then get the wire fraud.
In order for me to say that it's asking, if the new transaction is asking for street address, am I doing something incorrectly? Just to say that first one.
No, you started a transaction. You need to go all the way to the bottom. So you're creating a listing package. So get out of that. Scroll all the way to the bottom. No, get out of this. Go home.
So I just put add more transaction.
Okay, so wire fraud prevention notice. So let's click on that and we're going to add it to the package. Okay. And if you are not sure, okay, if you are not sure about what needs to be in a package, where can you go to figure that out? Good place to go is go to the opportunities in command and go into the listing documents and where Doug has what is required. So you can go into a listing and Doug will have this is required, and this is required. So therefore, you'll know what is required in a listing package. You can always add to your listing package. You can take out, you can delete the whole package if you don't like it. However, anything else you think needs to be in a listing package?
COVID.
Good job.
Disclosure.
Yeah. Nothing else used to be, but now we need the COVID. Listing packages were pretty easy before. So, in-person access acknowledgement. So you're representing the seller. People are going to come to the house most likely, so you really want the in-person. Now, I just filled one of these out for a buyer, and I want to tell you just a little tidbit here. I put for my buyer, just real quick, I know this is off topic, but they did not see it. They didn't tour it. They're not going to tour it before closing. So I put on here, I did have them sign it, but I put on here, buyers did not access property and will not before closing. So just so everybody knows down the road, because I keep these for 7 years, okay?
Did you just handwrite on the bottom? Or
No, when you go to e-sign it and you go to that one screen where you can put text
Yeah,
on there and all that, that's where I did it. Yeah.
That wouldn't be like an addendum or anything.
No, I just put it right here at the bottom.
Okay.
As I just clicked on that little text box and I drug it down here and I just typed it. And I did have them all initial it too. Yeah. So I drug initials down for every buyer, put it on there. So really, that's really, now you can rearrange these. So. Come on. Well, in your computer, I'll just tell you that. On your computer, you can drag this down below this. Oops. And this board is a little hard. So there's your listing package. I mean, that's pretty easy. Now, if anyone needs to schedule an appointment with me after this class this week on forms packages, whether they're buyer, listing, anything, let me know, okay?
Wendy, do you need in that, do you have to put the seller disclosure in there as well at that point, or is that later? Unless when you go for the.
All right, I would make a separate, for like your condo, I would make a separate listing package for condo.
Okay,
Because you don't know if you're doing residential or condo, and condos have a lot of documents.
sure.
So mine just looks like this. Now, if you don't know if you're in an HOA and all that kind of stuff, you could go ahead so you don't forget to put in a seller's disclosure. Go ahead and add that. Good idea.
But like it's typically more for the condos and other things because of everything they have to.
Well, sellers. So make sure you pick the right property disclosure. Obviously, they don't do anything. Just save that because you're not going to do anything. Let's get out of that.
And that was the seller's property disclosure.
Yeah, this is for residential.
Oh, gee, the
Residential.
This is for a single family home. So that is not for a condo. If you're dealing in condos a lot, you should make a separate condo because there's condo disclosures, HOA, you know, the condo docs. There's a whole lot of stuff. And Doug has a lot of requirements in this thing. You can just make a list. So in here, oh, we finished that section. Okay, any questions before we start the pre-fill? Any questions? Okay. So obviously the seller stays empty. However, broker, you can fill in and leave. I like these documents because they have our logo on them. So you can fill in Keller Williams Realty Emerald Coast. Now, I will say, my transaction coordinator always puts a slash and my name. It's up to you. She likes to go, Wendy Jones. I'm not going to tell you that there's a wrong way and a right way. I mean, she's licensed. She's been a realtor for a long time. So do whatever you want to do. However, it has to, did I spell Keller wrong? Keller?
You just put it as
Oh,
colors.
But it has to have this, and if you wish to put your name on there, go right ahead. So obviously you can't fill out the date. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something. Leave this open. Oh, I'm going to go back to date. I do it for a year. Your buyers may be buying for and closing in the next 2 months. However, I've had buyers who have done transactions within a year, like 2, maybe 3, say they're investors, or they've done a residential and then an investment property. I don't have to redo it. Or something has fallen through and we've moved on to a different property. It's just we couldn't find the right property for a few months. I just do it for a year. And I have a developer right now. We started in May. So we still haven't closed because of county. And so I have it for a whole year. You know, it's just easier.
Where you put that in, Wendy, the up top.
Well, in the beginning on and terminating on. So, obviously you can't do that now, but when you're writing it,
Oh, you're right. Over here.
I never, and I was taught this. Don't ever put anything here. Because what if your person comes down, and I've had this happen, and they come looking for condos, and they switch to a residential house, or vice versa. Or you find a combination of a condo over a commercial property. So, just don't put anything here. All right. You obviously can't put anything there. Pre-fill. So price you can't pre-fill. Let's see. I have to go get some water. If you wouldn't mind. All right. Now, do you guys understand a listing agreement? Some of you have been a realtor for a while, but because I've seen this come through on a couple of listing agreements from some people. Okay. So use seller's name in connection. Display the property on the internet, except the street address. Now, if you don't use the street address, how are people going to know? Oh, thank you so much. How are people going to know where this property is? Thank you. You're welcome. All right. So you will go through, you will find that there are police officers, some higher military people, agents for different FBI, things like Homeland Security, things like that. They have their information blocked on the county records. You will find that. So I understand that. However, you have to display the street address or else you aren't going to be able to sell it. Now, seller does not authorize broker to display the property on the MLS. How else are you going to sell it? Not like you're going to walk around and knock on doors. So if someone won't allow you to do that, then you need to have a talk with the broker. Seller understands and acknowledges that if the seller checks option, broker will be limited to marketing the property only to agents within the broker's office. So you'll only be allowed to, if they initial here, you'll only be allowed to market it to Keller Williams agents. You won't be able to put it on the MLS. So don't go for these guys. Now, use of a lockbox. Some sort of lockbox. You got to have some sort of lockbox. Otherwise, every time someone wants to show the property, you're going to be running out there and opening the door. And I've had agents do that. And I sit there and I wait. And I wait. And I wait for those agents. And I got to do it on their schedule. It just, okay. So withhold verbal offers. There's a difference between verbal offers and speaking with other agents when they're making offers. So yes, did you need to? So yes, when an agent calls me or I call an agent and I'm like, hey, you know, my client is blah, 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 thinking this, thinking that. Hey, you think that's going to get it done? Because I don't need to practice writing contracts and counteroffers and stuff like that. And they're like, well, you know, that's a little low. And I'm like, well, how much north do I need to be? And, you know, we kind of like talk things through, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, you know what? Why don't you go ahead and put in an offer and let's see what my client thinks of it. And we'll put in a counteroffer after that. Okay, perfect. So we kind of mushed it around, you know. Well, that's not really a verbal offer because I'm not accepting that. I'm not speaking for my client. I'm just speaking to another agent about we're getting in the vicinity of something, okay? But a verbal offer is someone calls you up and says, I'm offering your client X, Y, and Z. Submit the offer. No. So check that box because we're not accepting verbal offers. They're as good as the paper they're written on. Which they're not. Withhold all offers once the seller accepts a contract on the property. Well, if you got a contract on the property, why do you need to keep accepting offers? So once in a blue moon, you will have a seller who says, keep taking offers, keep taking offers, keep taking offers. And those are backup offers. Now, backup offers require more paperwork. They require you to display it on the MLS that you're accepting backup offers. Buyers who have contracts have to sign off on the fact that they know there's going to be backup offers. So there is more to it than just accepting backup offers.
So we wanted, just to be clear, we wanted to have the seller check with
Those
all
boxes.
verbal offers and then the other one.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're not checking those right now, correct? Or we are?
Well, no, you don't want to check them now.
Okay.
You want to check them in front of your client.
Oh,
But
okay, perfect.
you do want to check these though. These are like Zillow, what do you call those? Estimates and third-party comments. We don't want to accept those. Here, you want to put C, seller's disclosure.
Line 1 and 2.
Yes. I mean, if you want to go ahead and check those two boxes so you don't forget since you're newer, that's fine.
And then
I mean, they are blue, so they do catch your
Yeah.
attention. I mean, I explain what they are. You can always uncheck them. But see seller's disclosure because you don't want to write in here anything. You want the people to go look at the seller's disclosure. Compensation, I put 6 in there. And options, 0. I don't do options. I don't know of anyone who does options here. I don't do leases. We're selling a house. And so does anyone know why I put 180 days
What line are you on?
right here on 122?
the 180 you put.
If they put back out there, right?
So then I'll.
So someone terminates my contract. Seller terminates my contract, but doesn't sign with another listing agent. Does anyone know why?
You get the commission if they sell within 180 days after they expire.
So say my seller Joe terminates my contract, but he doesn't list with you. He's just taken it off the market. Well, I brought Bob through the house. Well, he found out. Bob goes, "Hey, I know Joe." Well, Joe terminates me. Well, a lot of agents will just put 30 or 60 days there. Well, Bob and Joe start talking to each other and they start making a deal behind my back. Well, yeah, they're going to wait 30 or 60 days. Sure, who wouldn't wait 30 or 60 days to get a really good offer on this house? So he terminates me. You think they're really going to wait 6 months for a house? A really good deal on a house for 6 months? So I put 180 days because you're not going to terminate me and make a really good deal behind my back. I'm going to make you wait 6 months to take possession of this house. I mean, if you can wait 6 months, knock yourself out. All right, I do put 50% because if something happens and a buyer loses their deposit, I want 50%.
Did you put the 50 in that if less than like?
Well, I put 50% just to reiterate that. Not that you really probably will ever get it, however.
Tell me what that is.
If a buyer somehow loses their deposit and has to back out of the contract, I want 50% of the deposit because I've worked very hard on the deal already. So I want to retain 50% of the deposit.
Is that the average? That's the norm?
Mhm.
Because I don't know.
Every buyer, seller agent expects it. Whether you can actually get it from your seller, I don't know, but some do, some don't. Because it automatically goes to the seller.
They get to keep it. The
Yeah.
seller will if the buyer backs out.
Yeah. And you can ask them for it. You can ask the title company for it. They may fight you on it. And do you really want to lose the listing over it? So,
I was gonna say, would we even say anything if they're like, okay, let's just keep listing? I mean, would you? kind of
well,
like
if
wait?
it was a $50,000 deposit, would you say something?
Mhm.
Was it, if it's a $2,500 deposit, would you say something?
I mean, it depends if you have backup offers or so to speak or whatever.
I think
And
it's,
you might just
I
be
think
like,
it's a,
Depending on the
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, each thing.
and do I want to lose the listing? You know,
Have you ever had that where you had to collect it? And
no,
the
I've
buyer
never
backed
had,
out?
I've never had a situation where the buyer's lost the deposit. I've had to switch lenders. I've had to do a lot of extensions on different things,
Or the buyer, like to help the buyer.
buyers or sellers or what have you. I mean, I've done a lot to keep deals together, and I lost 2. One, the seller backed out the day before closing,
Oh, no.
Christmas Eve.
No way.
Yeah. No, I mean, not Christmas Eve, Christmas Eve. They're supposed to close on Christmas Eve. And the sellers backed out.
Or the sellers did.
Yes, and the
Yeah, I
condo
know.
is still on the market 2 years later. However, my buyers got a much better condo. So,
It worked out.
yep, everything works out better. And can't remember the other one. I do remember there were 2. Can't remember what the other one that fell apart, but yeah. Oh, no, I know what it was. The day of closing, lenders do call and verify employment. And kept telling the lady who was engaged, she goes, "I'm going to quit my job." Like, don't tell anybody and don't do it till after closing. And she quit her job right before closing and lender called to verify her employment and she quit her job and they lost the loan. She also lost her fiance.
Oh my
So-
goodness.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So those are the two deals.
Wow.
And she ended up having to go and move in with some friend or whatever, I don't know. It was not good. So here's where I put 2.5 just to have automatic 2.5. You can adjust it depending on the deal. Wait. Wrong bit stuff around here. 2.5, 2.5, and 1%.
That's for someone with no relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Would
So
that mean like just somebody individually comes up and offers you something? How does that?
yeah, they don't hang their license anywhere. And you're gonna end up, it's like a FISBO, you have to do all the work.
For both sides.
So when would you do the dollar amount? I think I've talked to one person in here about when you would do a dollar amount and not a percentage.
Like over $1 million listing, can you do a?
Nope, the very opposite. So if you have a lot, usually it happens with vacant lots. So you have a building lot, like in a, I don't know, subdivision or something that's like 20 or 30,000, or you're out in the middle of nowhere and it's land that's like $20,000 or $15,000 or $30,000. If you do a percentage, literally you could walk away with $400 or $500, especially if you aren't capped. So you can offer a dollar amount, and if you're a buyer's agent and they're offering you a percentage, figure that up, and if it's less than $1,000, well, actually, if it's less than $2,000, ask them for $2,500 because you have to pay your broker fees, and you still have to do all the normal work. Ask them for $2,500 because they're probably getting a pretty good deal on compensation. And if the seller wants that land sold, ask them for the $2,500. They probably don't owe any money on it.
Ask the seller's agent.
Seller's agent, yeah.
Dang, I wish I'd known that. I used to do a little $50,000 buyer's rep for my very first sale.
Ask for a dollar amount.
And what about the 2.5%? Does everybody do that here?
2.5 to 3. You'll find that teams usually offer 2.5 because they have expenses like I do. Single agents can afford to offer 3 because they don't have all the team expenses.
Okay.
However, 6%, guys, 6%. Yeah, you guys all know the 6% script, right?
It's in the book. Sure.
No, you know my script.
Tell me.
Better tell us.
Good one.
We want.
You know my script. All right, when you're at your listing and they're like 6%, and agents need to learn this outside of this area who are doing 4%. All right, 6%. Well, 6%. 1% goes to Uncle Sam. 1%. Do you know it?
Yeah, to tack, all right, Uncle Sam,
Wait, all right.
feed my kids.
No, she's not doing it in order.
They all know that.
Oh, my broker.
1% goes to the IRS. 1% goes to the broker.
Marketing.
Okay, we'll do it in her order. 1% goes to marketing.
And then feed my kids.
Put a roof over her head and feed my family.
Yep.
1% goes to my retirement.
And And the other is my,
The ones that market your house, or no?
We
Already
already
did that.
marketed our marketing, 1% to charity contribution.
and that's your word, right? Isn't that the one?
So 1% goes to the IRS.
5% goes to broker.
Broker's right here.
Do you tell them you do 1% to retirement and 1% to you as income? You say it like that?
Well, basically, the 6%, and the only one that is adjustable is the marketing. Do you want me to take the marketing out? I can drop it to 5% if you don't want me to professionally market your home. Is that what you would like? Oh, you got me. I'm like, I got out of my rhythm.
Sorry.
Got out of my script. So it's IRS. It's this one, because this one's broker. IRS. Oh, buyer's agent.
Right, yes.
So IRS, buyer's agent, broker, my retirement account, because realtors have to retire also, marketing fees, and I have to put a roof over my family's head and feed my family. So which one is adjustable? The only one that's adjustable are the marketing fees. And don't put that middle finger up. Just kind of raise it. Which one? This one's the only one that's adjustable. I can take that out if you wish me to. Do you really want me not to professionally market your home? So that's my script.
Okay, thank you. You do that with sellers only, correct?
Yeah, buyers don't care. Buyers aren't paying.
That's true.
So this is also 164 Keller Williams Realty Emerald Coast, unless you're my transaction coordinator and she puts my name in there.
What line?
164. And I do not charge them a cancellation fee. If I had done a terrible job, why would I charge them to cancel me? So if you've done a great job, you're going to get your commission. If you've done a terrible job, you don't deserve anything. Additional terms. If someone has overpriced their house and just insists you list it there, this is where you can make them agree to, fine, I'll list your home at the price you want, even though it's above comps. If you agree to, and remember the script of overprice, if we don't have 3 showings or an offer in the first 2 weeks, then you agree to, now this depends on the price of the home. So if you have, say, a $500,000 house, you agree to drop the price 10% and make sure they initial it. And then if the next 2 weeks, we do not have 3 more showings or another an offer, you agree to drop it. Now you got to get down to the comps so after 4 weeks, whatever the comps are, you need to get down to the comps. So whatever percentage or dollar amount you need to drop it over those 4 weeks in 2-week increments, that's the schedule. And they need to initial these. So after 4 weeks, get it down to the comparables.
What do you mean by offer? Like,
Contract. If no one's put a contract on it,
Because it's overpriced, you think like, you're gonna drop it to make it at
Right,
market
so
value.
it has to be what you're asking for, the offer has to be, it can't be any lower or higher. Well,
if you're not under contract, if you don't have 3 showings and you're not under contract
okay,
in this 2 weeks or in this 2 weeks, you got to get it down to the comparables.
what if they say no? What if they say, I just don't want to do that?
That's fine. So you have priced it to where you're going to get me a lot of great buyer leads. Now, this is where we're going to get you a lot of great showings.
That's where you're gonna sell it, not just list your house.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Now, if
it's
you need to
listed on
be,
itself.
if you need to be in a certain place by a certain time, we can list it down here. Because there's 3 different places that you list a home. Do you remember that script? So there's 3 different places that you list a home. You either list it too high, which gives me a lot of great buyer leads, or you list it in comparable with the comparables, and it gets you a lot of showings, and we intend to get you under contract within a reasonable amount of time, or we price it under the comparables because you need to be XYZ, say Nashville, in 4 weeks. Like my husband got a job offer and he had to be there in 2 weeks. He had to be down here in 2 weeks. And I was left with a condo, a business, a kid getting married, and I was just like, so we needed to sell.
Heart palpitations just hearing. Just hearing that. Not even living it.
To be quite honest though, it was easier with him gone.
Well, you know,
I know.
no distraction.
I had a great time. Yeah, I really did. But so that's the 3 stages of pricing. So this is where you can have that. This is also where you can put the things that will not stay with the house, or it's sold fully furnished or somewhat furnished, or
Or if they're gonna make closing calls, things like that.
no,
No.
you don't even address that
Okay.
because it always has to do with an offer.
This is just like the contract between you two.
Yeah, I mean, this is, so if an agent calls you and they're like, hey, is this chandelier staying? Let's see. Yes, it's staying because it's not in here. However you really want, if a chandelier is not going to stay, it needs to go before it gets listed, and it needs to be replaced because they're nightmares. I love that chandelier. I don't want it to go. And then it becomes a fight and you lose the contract. So that should be,
So Wendy, we're doing
You
this.
know, oh, go ahead.
and then make sure you save.
Go ahead, David.
Oh, no, I'll just.
So go through your documents, fill them out, save what you can, and then print them out and take them with you.
So this
Okay.
is before you present them, right? And then all those additional terms you're putting when you're kind of
Yeah,
going
you can
over the
hand-
contract with them.
Don't feel afraid to handwrite stuff, but at least a lot of this is then just, and if something is check marked or whatever, and they want to change it, X it out, have them initial it, but you can change things, but this is standard. And that's why it's typewritten. This is standard. You can explain it. This is standard. This is what our company qualifies as standard. Okay. Any questions before we go on?
No, but I was gonna add on the chandelier thing. We sold our house before I got my real estate license, and our agent came over to the house and said, just to me, and she said, do this, this, and this, and this. And I said, oh, I'm not selling that chandelier. I sell my kids' piano. I didn't buy that. And she's like, just go ahead to Lowe's, get you $200 and change it out before you sign, before we even list it. So and I did.
Yep.
Because I when I put it on the market, I wanted it to sell. So she came over to tell me what I needed to do before we put it on the market.
Yep, I still have my grandmother's Tiffany lamp in a box because I really don't have any place for it in my house. So I took it down before I put the condo on the market.
Yeah.
So sure.
Yeah,
It's
why
fighting.
even show it if you're not willing to just
Oh, but
go
it's
replace
prettier with it in here now. Well, someone's gonna be excited because it's so pretty.
it? Agreed. I mean, I'm like,
But with that, you just say like anything they want to keep, you'll just put that in the additional terms. What are we keeping? Okay, great.
Mhm. Right, and so say things sold fully furnished.
Yeah.
Except for obviously personal items and a few antique pieces. Well, a lot of people are not down here full time, so it's going to go on the market with those items in it. And you really don't want to renew a couple big pieces of antiques. So this is where you would put it in there, have them send you pictures, and you have the pictures of those pieces. And if a agent says, well, which pieces are they? You have them on your phone and you can forward them to them. I've had so many agents who were like, oh, well, it's a table that's somewhere near the bed. There's a lot of freaking furniture in here. Yeah. So anyway, then there's no opportunities. Let's see. Oh, come on. Come on. All right, so opportunities. Listings. All right. When you have listings that are serious, well, or mildly serious, put them in cultivate. I mean, put them in as a contact, then put them in cultivate. And when they're turning into an appointment, put them in as an appointment, you know, or move them to appointment. All right. This is going to really, really help you as far as you can then take your form simplicity documents and move them right over here. So it just keeps you on track and you don't forget about your documents that are in form simplicity because you are going to get those listings. It's not hopefully, you are. Mindset, guys, mindset. You're going to get those listings. Okay, go ahead.
Wait, form simplicity, is this the way, you know how we're moving away from the loop or dot loop?
Okay,
Is this replacing them?
Nope.
No, okay.
I don't do DocuSign in command.
Okay.
It's too complicated.
Is DocuSign what they're like encouraging?
No.
Okay.
Well, it's
But they're
part of.
not encouraging dot loop, that's all I know, right?
Right, we're going away from dot.
Dot loop, but this could replace. that.
DocuSign is in command.
Mhm.
I tried it for 3 months. It's just way too complicated. It's just, there's way too many steps.
Okay.
And Form Simplicity is attached to our MLS and it drags in all of our information automatically. So you just have to take your Form Simplicity documents and upload them to the command. So
So when
Mine
do I
looks
do that?
different than yours. Well, you clicked on opportunities and then did you click anything else?
mhm. Yeah, so it should look like this. And I clicked on cultivate.
Oh,
And to be quite honest, do as I tell, not as I do.
okay.
So I have an assistant that I need to start sending everything to, and she tells me, and it would all be in here instead of on a whiteboard like old realtors do. So all of my people are on a whiteboard and not in here.
And these are ones you have under contract or working with?
No, they're cultivate.
Cultivating.
Yes,
Is it
and some are
warming?
appointment people.
And you just haven't put them in yet, but you still have.
Yeah, because they're on my whiteboard.
That's right.
And then if you listed with them, if they listed with you, then you would put them in here?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just making sound.
So this is the whiteboard of what realtors used to have on a whiteboard. Real whiteboard. This is the new whiteboard. And the thing is, this whiteboard can go with you anywhere, whereas my whiteboard is stuck on a wall at home. So you should really use this. And I need to not have the whiteboard that's stuck at home. So do that. Don't do what I do.
Start there.
Yeah, and do what Vanya tells me. Get in here. Anyway, so you really use this. And then you can customize, like under Cultivate, you can edit stages. So you can watch, nurture, and that, and literally though, this way, when you do become the agent who has a transaction coordinator, when you have 2 or more deals a month and you have a transaction coordinator, your coordinator can see what you're working on instead of me sending her information. Because right now she can see it in Form Simplicity because I have a commercial deal that's getting signed. She can see that, and then she'll move it over here. I have a new one that went under contract a couple days ago, and she can see it in Form Simplicity, and she'll move it over here. But really, I should do it over here. But you can add stages. This is what's in your head, people. This is not anything to do with Keller Williams. You can add, change to any stage. So whatever works for you.
So Wendy, is this in a sense kind of like,
The reminders.
Okay, perfect. As I was gonna say,
Yeah.
like kind of almost reminding you about your lead, right?
Mhm.
Because right now it's almost like you have
Mhm.
a listing contract brought up, but you haven't done the presentation. So now you're like, where am I at with that?
Yes.
Listing presentation, lead, that appointment, that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect.
This is my listing presentation. This is my seller net sheet. So you can put those
Okay.
reminders, like 2 days before. Check your listing presentation, make sure that your listing presentation is personalized to where your appointment is. Make sure the pictures, make sure the names, everything are personalized to your listing presentation. Get the seller net sheet started, and Mark Violet now has an interactive seller net sheet on his website. Very simple, and you can then work on it while you're sitting with the seller, and then you can get the mortgage information and everything and enter it, and it's very interactive, and you can literally make a seller net sheet while you're sitting with the seller. Oh gosh.
His website, Mark, maybe knows, but Mark Bob's website is so nice and great setup. It's got awesome links and
Yeah.
it's so easy to use.
That's a different topic. Make an appointment with me and I'll go through that with you. So any questions on this, on putting documents into here? So, back.
Where do you upload that to?
I'm going right there.
Okay, okay.
Where's, okay. Documents. Oh, did you follow that? Did you just see that? I was watching. Okay. Listing. Active. I don't know why she has this in legacy, but I'm gonna put this. Well, anyway, documents. So there's.
Yeah, I don't have a different.
Yeah.
I think you're just gonna have to follow this because unless you have a listing in there,
Yeah, I won't create it.
It won't.
Show it.
How do you create the listing? Through Cultivate?
Yeah.
unless you have an active listing, you won't have a documents tab. So just watch this. So when you have an active listing, this is what it'll look like. So you can, if you want to set up a seller profile, go right ahead. I don't know what use it is, but then, oh, I'm going to tell you guys right now, my coach was telling me offers and commissions, because you couldn't get to commissions until you set up an offer. At some point, this is going to merge together, so you won't have to do all that. Documents. Okay, so you can see that I have not done that. Not quite sure why Vanya hasn't done that. But anyway, there you go. Exclusive right of listing required. Seller disclosure required. COVID required, wire fraud required. You will have to upload your active listing report. And then, oh, this is residential, mine, you know. So you just go through that. But anyway, attach multiple files. So once you download your things from Form Simplicity, just, you know, how you hit the control button and you hit your multiple documents, attach multiple files. So attach, and you can then choose all those files at one time, and it uploads all of them at one time. You don't have to go and do each one at each time, okay? Or you can do one at a time. Put every single document you get in your opportunity. It doesn't belong in your computer. It belongs in here. Keller Williams has to keep everything for 7 years on a deal. And that way, if your computer crashes, burns, dies, all you have to do is go back to your listing, your thing, whatever, opportunity, and it's all there. So you can add an item if you don't have a, what do you call it? A category. You can add an item and you can name it. Say, on this, it would be like a county study or something like that, because it's a 10-acre plot of land. Over here, it's I have a large file for a wetland study. I can add custom folder because it's a pretty large document. I can add a custom folder for a wetland study. You can add a comment to Doug, who's the, what do you call it? Compliance. Here, when you submit it, you get this red thing that says rejected, and you really do feel rejected. And they talked about changing that because it does feel like you're rejected, and then you'll add a note of what it is. But you will get a teal thing down the side that says accepted, and then a red thing that says rejected. And so you know what's rejected. And you feel very sad. I just felt like,
Feels very
God.
personal.
That means it's working or no, like the rejected or?
Yeah, your document's rejected, your
Oh,
file's rejected. It's just like you feel, don't
Over
you?
you.
Okay, well, I know when you prepped me for that, when it came back approved, I was holding my breath. I'm like, what was it?
Oh, it was
Okay.
awesome. But now when it comes back and it's just this big red thing and it says rejected, it's just
Oh,
like,
okay.
it hits you personally. It's like,
What did I do wrong?
so here's the submit button. You know, here's the start a transaction button. So you have to, right now, you have to put in an offer, add new offer right now until they merge this. And once you have once you have gone through and filled it out and you've accepted your own offer, then the commissions tab lights up. And then you can do the commissions thing, which is really easy. So that's a whole different thing. All right. Questions? We got to get out of here. We're almost done. Questions?
Thank you.
And we're going to have fun tomorrow. So,
So 9 o'clock it starts tomorrow.
mhm. So it'll be fun because my listing presentation is like 3 years old. So it'll be fun to listen to her. I will tell you guys that in Command, there are listing presentations. In Michael Lewis Marketing Suite, there are 3 listing presentations, which is where I do mine. If you don't know how to get into Michael Lewis Marketing Suite, see me. Actually, you need to call them to get into it.
Listing presentation in the toolkit.
Yeah, I saw that in track. Yeah, there's one in track I saw.
I have not done the one in Command. Oh, that's true. And